Hey anyone, I'm Hawk, and today I want to talk about a few reasons why you should play Medieval 2 Total War as soon as you can. So to start off, right off the bat, it's the best Total War to date in my opinion. Yeah, there's a lot of bias from nostalgia there, and I love it for some reasons that other people may not, but Medieval 2 had a vibe that no other Total War has had yet for me. I'm personally obsessed with the, quote, Middle Ages, let's say from 1100 onward, so the setting alone was enough to do it for me back in the day when I first got my hands on it, but it stuck with me mainly for its gameplay and its depth. I loved and still love Rome Total War, the game that came before it, but Rome is a little played out in my opinion, and it was back when it came out too. It'll always have a place in my heart, and Rome Total War was the first time the series went 3D, and holy hell did it improve on the Total War formula. But Medieval 2 just blows Rome out of the water. It took everything that made Rome great and made it better. I love the diplomats, the castles and cities, and how they differ in function and how they both actually have a purpose. I love the family trees and the marriage or adoption mechanics. I love the church mechanics, where you could have a cardinal become pope through political intrigue, or you could just outright take the papal states by force. How you can entertain the pope and the church by towing the line, or just go full-blown apostate and be excommunicated because you started too many wars in Europe. You could also call for a holy crusade or even a jihad if you play as a Muslim state. And religion in general really plays a heavy role in the game, and I always appreciate that. I'm not religious myself, but I just think it's kind of cool. Something else in Medieval 2 that we haven't seen in a while is city overview screens. I don't know why that was taken out of the franchise, but I love looking over each city and seeing exactly what's making people happy, or sad, or upset, or angry. I love seeing the religions play a role in it, what kind of trade is going on. Rome had the ability to tour the city on the battle map whenever you wanted, and I absolutely loved that too. That's not in Medieval 2, but that's about the only thing that made Rome better than Medieval 2 in my opinion. Battles in Medieval 2 felt perfect. It's the second to last Total War game that I played that I didn't feel the need to download a battle mod for. Morale feels right, unit stats feel good, shields actually take hitboxes into account, and the combat felt tough at times, but totally fair no matter what. Soldiers also move slower than in newer Total Wars, and I miss the early stages of battles where you almost danced with the enemy, or you could if you wanted to. Getting positioning right, or gunning it towards the nearest hill for a ground advantage, because there was actually still ground advantages in this game. I don't know if that's in the newer ones, I haven't paid too much attention to them, but you still had the option to start battles by just kind of charging into the enemy, but you could also spend time to maneuver men into the perfect position for whatever your plan was. And how could I talk about battles and why Medieval 2 was amazing without talking about general speeches before the battles? Just like in Rome Total War, generals would give speeches before deploying, taking into account everything from army composition, personal traits, the enemy nation, enemy army size and composition, your own army size and composition, history of engagements the general had, and so much more. They had so many things they took into account for these speeches. Some of the speeches were pretty legitimately inspiring, and some of them were downright hilarious. Look up General with the Insanity trait giving a speech. And that's another thing. Generals had traits. All of your character people, for instance, had traits, and the traits were given by things that they did, just random chance, or buildings that you had in settlements that they stayed in, and you could move them from settlement to settlement, or city to city, castle to castle, and they could get different traits based on the building chains that you had in those locations. That's just gone at this point in Total War, and I have no idea why they removed that, because every general that you had actually felt like an individual character, not just General number 725. And now, even though Medieval 2 Total War is great, I'm not going to say that it was historically accurate. No Total War game is really historically accurate. Some come closer than others, but this one definitely wasn't that close. But if you want more historical accuracy, there's always a mod for you. I could make a 30-hour video on mods for Medieval 2. I think it has more massive mods that are still actively being worked on and updated to this day than any other Total War game to date. Whatever you want out of this game, there's a mod for it. Now, some of my favorite mods, just in general, that do add a little bit more historical accuracy are the Historical Improvement Project, which is kind of a companion to the Stainless Steel mod. I think the Stainless Steel mod is the most popular mod for this game. Maybe, I could be wrong. But there's also all kinds of crazy other things you could download. Like there's the Third Age Total War and its submod Divide and Conquer, which turns the game into a Lord of the Rings kingdom simulator. You have the Elder Scrolls mod, Elder Scrolls Total War, which is legendary in its own right. You have the Game of Thrones mod. Someone's even working on a Dragon Age mod, which I am super excited for. It's actively in development at this point. There's more mods for this game than you could shake a stick at, and most of them are total overhaul mods that'll radically change the game. It's not like a little thing added here or there, or an adjustment there or here, it's just total remakes of this game, and all of them are awesome. Every single one. So I'd suggest going to ModDB, I believe, is where most of them are. And if you do get this game, and for some reason haven't played it before, I always recommend playing through the game as it was released first. Just because there's a lot going on here, and you should get a good understanding of the foundation of what you're playing. And then you should jump into mods. But I don't blame you if you see a mod and want to dive into it first. That's totally understandable. Some of them can get pretty complex, though. But either way, it's amazing, and it's still the best Total War to date for me personally. Hopefully that changes someday. I'd love to see it dethroned by something better, but until that day, I'll happily stick with Medieval 2 Total War, and you should too.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Give us a like if you enjoyed it, and dislike it if you didn't.
Let us know what you think about the channel.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Tell your mom.